Hi there. And the book we're going to look at today in the series on knife training is by one of the really great figures in the community over the past few years. It's Bob Casper. And I first was aware of Bob through articles he wrote in various magazines. There was a magazine called Tactical Knives, and there was a couple of other knife orientated magazines around back then when print magazines were still very popular. And he wrote a regular column and some feature articles, and I always found them very, very interesting. Also, Pete Robbins, our late friend, had been in touch with Bob and sang his praises. So I was aware of his activities in the wider close combat scheme through the GHCA, the Gung Ho Chuan Association. So I was then able to meet Bob and train with him when Pete Robbins brought him over to the UK for a seminar, and we went down to Essex, and I found him to be not only a great instructor who could teach but also could perform, but he was very personable and a really nice guy, and I really enjoyed meeting him. And his untimely death came as a great shock to us all, and it was a great loss. Anyway, he wrote a couple of books, and we have actually reviewed his unarmed combat book, Individual Close Combat, previously. He did another book which was a compilation of his articles, and I was actually contacted by his family because I had all the articles, I had all the magazines, and we went through them and we found that there wasn't anything that they weren't aware of. There was nothing missing. So when the book came out, it was very, very complete. I did have a copy of the book, and I mislaid it or loaned it out to someone, I don't know which, but I've still got all the articles anyway. I'll put a link to that book in the notes underneath this. So he wrote another book which is subject to this review, which is The Sting of the Scorpion, and it's got a foreword by Kelly McCann. And Kelly McCann and Bob cooperated a lot in the Gung Ho Chuan Association, and also in more government-based activities, where Kelly McCann had great contacts and introduced Bob so he could train the US Marines, and Bob wrote their Edge Weapon syllabus. They replaced their existing program with a combative-based program, and he also trained one of the special mission units in knife work. Excuse me. And amongst other things that he did, he designed knives, and his signature knife really is this one, the Casper Companion. This is a custom sheath from Mike Sastre, which Marcus sent me, called the Diplomatic Protection Sheath, made out of Kydex. But the original sheath's a good one. This knife you can't get anymore. It wasn't very expensive when it came out. Columbia River produced it, this particular one, and it's called a Companion, and it really is, to me, it is the self-protection knife. People have sometimes asked me, how would you design your own knife? What your own knife be? And my answer is this: I can't better this one. So I've got no aspirations to do that. It also came out as a folder, which is again from Columbia River. It was originally Crawford and or Pekalski rather, and it's the best folder for self-protection because the opening stud, the clip, everything, and the hand shape works. A lot of design elements there which reflect the experience of the man. So the book goes into all the things that you would expect. For example, the grip, talks about the grip. Now, every knife book talks about the grip. The thing that impressed me about Bob, and this was in one of his articles, Bob was very influenced by John Stiers, and Stiers taught the saber grip, this grip with the thumb on top. It's a good grip, okay? However, doing force on force training with close contact and real impact, what Bob found out was that the thumb here, well, I'll do it left-handed so you can see, the thumb position there leaves a channel here, and the knife can be dislodged from the hand pretty easily. And the answer to that is to lock down the thumb into what used to be called a hammer grip, or it's a natural grip. And all the different grips on the knife that have been taught, the foil grip, the saber grip and so on, really you can replace them by the natural grip. Whenever on a course somebody was unaccustomed to knife training, you hand them a training knife and they get hold of it. That's what they do. It's natural. It's how we operate tools. Okay. There's a lot of design elements that make that grip, which is the interface between the weapon and the hand, much more user-friendly. And Bob's knives had that in spades. A lot of knife designers concentrate on the blade more, but Bob put equal thought into the handle, the grip, the hilt. So just that, when he found out that the saber grip had potential drawbacks, and he wrote about it and he admitted it, and he said, I've changed. And for instructors, when they have a signature technique and they've been known for it, to admit that there's a better way of doing it is the sign of a great instructor, and Bob is a great instructor. So then another section in the book is on the draw, and this is a neglected section in most knife training books. But when you think about it, it's the important one because it's a self-protection tool, and you've got to access that knife. Predictably, it's going to be in a stressful situation. So we carry the knife concealed. I know there are states in the United States and the parts of the world, and there are situations where you can carry a knife openly. That's the exception, and it draws a lot of unwanted attention. Most people, if they are carrying a knife, it's going to be concealed for everyday moving around amongst the general population. So you've got to be able to work from concealed, and Bob covers that, how to clear garments and so on. And it's very important. It's not a small thing, it's a big thing. Then he goes into things like the guard position, and he does all pros and cons on that in a lot of detail. Stance, movement, how you move and so on. And really it's a very complete program in the book, but it's not a complicated program. Really, Bob's system, there are elements of the Filipino method. You can see this in some of the ways in video work he's done. And there is a video, I think it's called The Lost Tapes, that you can get hold of. I'll put a link to that in. And you can see how he moves. So it's Filipino based, but also with elements of World War II styles, for example, in the movement, the lunges, the footwork, and also in the street use of the knife, from the gangs, from how they're used in prisons and so on. And distasteful as it is, you know, we can learn from the people who actually do this on a regular basis. And it's no use ignoring a source of material just because it's from the baddies. So he's put it all together in this program, which is an ideal blend, highly practical, but as I say, it's uncomplicated. So all in all, the book is the best representation of the most applicable, workable knife self-protection system that there is. So it's possible, and some of the other books I've talked about, which are great books, you can go into them, you can get bits and assemble a program. Bob's actually done that, okay? And it's workable, and he's trained a lot of very high-level people in it, and they've accepted it wholeheartedly. As I say, Bob passed away a few years ago, and it's a great loss. But his book, fortunately, he completed it before he died. So it remains a testament to his life's work.